What's going on, Soul Tribe? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and are you ready to set some intentions this week? Work with this energy, because you know what? Just relax all right, because it's a light one. And with everything that's been going on, I think we're overdue for some light energy right now, some light aspects. It's a lot of the stuff that we've already experienced that's going on. Venus is going to be forming her last conjunction of three that's been happening with Saturn, and also then it's going to Venus is the star of the show. And Venus is also going to be entering into Aries, bold, assertive, not caring how people experience it. It's going to be an interesting energy to talk about, but we'll get into all that here in a moment. But if you're new here, again, my name is Justin, and one of the things that I do on this channel is talk about the Celestial News Weekly, the chit chat that's going on up in the sky. And I'm going to be covering the week of April 24th through April 30th, 2025. And let's get into this thing. Because on the 24th of April, that's going to be a Jupiter day, Venus and Saturn are going to be forming a conjunction, and this is happening at 5:02 p.m. and it'll be happening at 27 degrees. Oh, and that's Pacific time. It's happening at 27 degrees and 13 minutes of Pisces. Now, Pisces has been very active for a while. The Pisces parts of our chart. And like I said, this is the third time that Venus is forming this conjunction with Saturn. And this would be a time where I would do some backtracking, look to see when Venus did the first conjunction, did the second conjunction, what were some themes that were coming up, and look to see where the Pisces Aries is of your chart is, and that's how you can get a better idea to see what you've been attracting, how you've been creating harmony. Because when you think about the nature of Venus, let's talk about that for a moment. Venus in traditional astrology is known as the lesser benefic, but that doesn't take away from the abundance that it brings. Venus is in tarot is the Empress, which is pure. One thing is just like real creative expression. When you think about Venus, there's such an artistic side to Venus, and there's an emotional side that Venus expresses here. And that's why Venus does so well in Pisces. This is where Venus finds its exaltation. Very close to this degree. I think it's at 28 degrees that Venus is where this precise thing. But when you look at it just like as a sign, Venus is exalted in all of the sign of Pisces. And when a planet is exalted, this is just where its best aspects are just most celebrated, where it's able to really shine bright. Venus is really able to move people with Pisces. When you think about when you look at a piece of art, or when you look at dance, or when you listen to music and you're really feeling it, the emotions that come up, the inspirations, the awe, the wonder, the imagination really just kind of flourishes when you're working with Venusian energy here. Venus is what makes this journey just more pleasant, brings concord, harmony, relationships in things. And this is thinking too when we talk about relationships. There's been a lot of change that's been happening with all of us, and it's like the people that have been coming along with us. Those, I think, relationships are worth celebrating as well, and taking a time to maybe just get together and just like, man, look at what we've been through and how we've grown through this thing. Because I don't think that these energies are, when we experience a lot, that it's just meant to be just something that beats up on us. We're changing, we're evolving all the time here. And I think that this Venus conjunct Saturn is just really thinking about the way that you experience, how, not just like how you experience beauty, but how you create beauty, how you contribute to this creation. And Saturn is giving us that invitation to really ground those ideas and to give it form, to take something that, like what's a feeling, and to be able to express that in the Venusian sense. But in order to do that, we have to look at the things that we're attracting, and because that's another Venusian quality. And are any of these things impeding us from really being in that exalted state? Are our basic needs being fulfilled? And that's going to be another thing we're talking about with the saving symbol, because that's a theme that's been a real highlighted point. And this is something where if you have any planets or points around, especially the fixed, or excuse me, the mutable signs of the zodiac. That's Pisces, Gemini, Sag, and Virgo. And we're talking about that late degrees. It's been like 27, 28, 25. I'd say from 25, maybe 24 to about 20, 29 has been really, really active. And so you may have been noticing there's been a lot of changes that's been going on there. But I do think that, again, the changes have been one of producing this growth that I don't even, it's like, I think it's almost maybe kind of hard to conceptualize right now because we've been in such a lack of earth energy for a while. But now that we have the sun in Taurus, I think that there's something here where now we can really, the things that we've been feeling through, we can really make those happen with this last conjunction here and really get into the practices again of what is my exalted form doing every day? How do they show up, and how do I incorporate those practices into my daily routine? And then just watch how things change. Watch how you start attracting different things, because I know we all have, our regular obligations and things. It can be a little difficult to find the time, but there's a way to carve it in there. I'll give you an example. I've been doing a lot of just like kind of personal, just kind of spiritual work, little ritual practices, and I got to work it into my day to days. I have other things that I'm doing, and it's been where it's been challenging. It has given me a chance to get creative with the spaces that I'm working with, and it's like, okay, where would be the best place to find some quiet to do this thing for just a few minutes, and to get recentered and to get centered and find concord in the chaos sometimes as I'm going through the day to day and watching how you can get more in sync and not feel so caught up in the mix of it. I've been listening to a lot of like nature sounds and things, and that's even gotten it where I'm just like noticing it naturally more potently outside, and it's just like, wait, and I haven't been really listening to headphones, so it's just like little practices like that can really make really big long term changes, for the better, whatever you're wanting to create here. But let's talk about the Sabian symbol because it is phase 358 of Pisces, and it talks about a fertile garden under the full moon reveals a variety of full-grown vegetables. And the keynote is the full satisfaction of the individual's basic needs. And when you think of, the moon really does have these really potent growing powers. We're about to get to where on the 27th, I think that's when we have that new moon in Taurus, and that's where the moon's going to be exalted in. And this is happening right before, Venus will move into Aries. So we'll have, even when we get to the new, I know it talks about the full moon here, but when we get to the new moon, we'll be working with really fertile soil, and that new moon will be under the kind of responsibilities of Venus, who again is in its exalted state right now. So this, I really think, is the time to just look at how can I think it's one, if your basic needs haven't been met, of course, how can you meet that? But I even think it's like maybe even like a challenging of your basic needs. Maybe you've been kind of keeping the status quo, been kind of keeping this sort of plateau thing, but now it's time to get something fresh, something new, some sort of like new kind of inspiration is what I'm feeling with this energy as well. Could be an invitation for you to do that. This could be exploring a new mode of expression. Maybe you take up woodworking. Maybe if you were a musician, maybe if you have a certain genre you lean to, go explore something else, or whatever this might look like for you. I think that this one is really inviting us to do something neat. And I think it's something that we're feeling that direction change. Because one thing I found really interesting too, while we're talking, one little last thing about this transit, is that the time that this conjunction is happening, the moon is actually is applying a conjunction to the north node. And so we could be feeling that something old, something opposing, because when we're working with the nodes, we're always thinking about the south node too. There's something that is being let go because we're making space for something new. We've learned something, a chapter is closing, and we're evolving here. We're making space, the vessel, the aquarium, to hold those cosmic waters are growing. So I think that this is a really great time to kind of feel where this experience is leading you, trust that intuition, and see where it guides you. because I think that's going to lead nicely into, because then the rest of the week is quiet. Don't have any major transits, so it'll just be kind of just lunar shenanigans for a little while. And if you want to see what's up with the moon while things are kind of going on here, there's a link for my other channel, the Chariot and Friends, where I talk about all the lunar astrology, do an I-Ching reading, tarot, all that good stuff there. So that's going to be something for you. But our next and last transit is going to be on a Mercury day, the 30th of April, and this is happening at 10:16 a.m. and Venus is going to be, and that's again Pacific time, and Venus is going to be entering into Aries. Now, Venus was already in Aries. It got to about 9-10 degrees of Aries before. Let me actually, oh no, I think I actually updated the retrograde thing, yep. But it went about to about, I think it was about 9-10 degrees of Aries before it backtracked here. But Venus in Aries is an interesting one, because this is where Venus finds itself in its detriment. And when you think of just like a celestial body in its detriment, it's just like in unfamiliar territories. It's one thing, when you know your home, you know where everything is, it's placed how you like it. But then when you're furthest away from your home, everything's different. It's all in a different language. The food is different. How you turn things on are different. How you even need to present yourself is different. So when you think about Venus in Aries, Venus is usually, when you think about it in Libra, is very charismatic, is one that knows how to form those relationships. It's thinking about the other. But in Aries now, Venus is more so thinking about herself and more so about the things that it wants to create. This is where I think, this is one of, even though Venus in detriment, I think, is not really as bad as it can seem, because this is Venus just expressing herself in an unadulterated fashion. Now, the thing with creativity is beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And this is where the detriment comes in, because the styles that you may do, it might ruffle some feathers. People might feel some type of way. And sometimes you've heard like that, some press is better than no press. Now, I'm not saying we go out there just to get people shook, but I do think that it is an energy that invites you to be more of your authentic self, that allows you to not really think about and then again, it's not doing it in a way that's rude, but it is being more unrestricted, unfettered in how you express yourself, and how you, if you've been one that maybe would put yourself in a box to take up a bit more space, to allow that there's a way, because what I see here sometimes, I think maybe with Venus to do is when we've maybe been doing a lot of people pleasing and things like that, the extreme of it when Venus is in a fire sign is that she overcompensates for that, and then we're just and then the reaction doesn't feel proportional, you know what I mean? And then that's where that energy can maybe start stirring up some trouble there. But Aries energy in itself, it's the ram, the cardinal fire sign ruled by Mars. So there's this very, very strong active nature with Aries, but I don't think it necessarily has to always be aggressive. Aries is, for me, is just a really prolific sign. I really think that this is Venus just creating her heart out, just really just kind of letting the will move through her, and just this is, to me, would be just you book a studio and just paint. Just don't even, not sure how long, we're not even going to set a time limit on it. We're just going to just sit and play, or we're going to grab a guitar and just stare at the sky and just see what little melodies come out there. Again, it doesn't have to be anything super aggressive, I think, with this Venus kind of entering into Aries here. But with everything that we've been moving through, what do you have to show for it? What has this experience been for? And how do you want to relate to people differently based off what you've been feeling, based off these new themes? And I think now this Venus, because now we're starting to, the water's starting to evaporate. Where the planets are starting to move out of this kind of heavy water energy, and we are getting into a lot more fire here. So I think this is a time to just to feel alive and to really do things that you get the blood pumping, get the inspiration going, I think, with Venus being in Aries. But yeah, those are just some of my thoughts there. Yeah, but enjoy the quiet, enjoy this period of time because it has been a lot of energies that we've been kind of moving through here, and so yeah, let this be a time where we just kind of just do some Venusian things again. Go get out in nature, go for a run, go appreciate something, go listen to, go see the flowers, whatever that might look like for you. But yeah, very great time for just like, yeah, taking care of the self and thinking about, all right, what am I going, how am I going forward, and who am I going forward with on this journey to, who are the people that keep me excited, because that's another thing too, I think. Lastly, that Venus and Aries can maybe even bring more fire in relationships. And then of course this could be in a romantic sense as well, but I just mean more so just like, where you're feeling like you maybe have like those relationships where you're just doing a lot of good bantering. You've been doing a lot of just like bouncing ideas off of each other's and things, and just like you are talking about like, oh, I've been doing this and that may inspire you to do such and such, and you know what I mean, just kind of inviting those sort of energies into the mix there, like what you've been working on as of late. What are some of you new, do you have any new hobbies, any new interests, any new things that you've been checking out or something like that? I think that'd be a great way of working with the Venus and Aries energy too. And again, to kind of get out of your comfort zone a little bit, just like see, maybe challenge yourself with like different genres or different like things that normally aren't your taste, exploring maybe different foods, different, working with different flavors and things like that. That might be something, maybe getting a little some spicy foods in the mix. This reminds me, I've been doing this thing here recently where I've been taking like some maple syrup and putting a little cayenne pepper in it, a little sweet, a little spicy. That's been a nice little mix there. So that's definitely a Venus and Aries type of thing. So, well, there's a little something to think about, but I think that's all I got for you there. And if you want to work with these transits a bit more personally, see how this is coming up in your chart, how to look for these themes, and what kind of questions to ask, how to expand your knowledge on this stuff. Down in the description box is a link to get in touch with me, and you can book I have a couple services that are provided for you there with some information in the description box. So definitely check that out, and we just get into it. And then, like I said, if you want to follow the Lunar Shenanigans, you can check out my other channel, The Chariot and Friends. And I also do this series that I've been doing on here, where I don't really have any rhyme or reason when I'm releasing them, but they're these little. It's talking about different celestial bodies in different signs in different houses, and just like kind of my thoughts on how I go to approach those different signs. What are some things to think about if you maybe have these placements natively, or possibly even some things maybe that might come up when you're working with them within transits. That might be something else that I might do. But until next time, stay mindful out there. Keep raising that vibration through the roof. And I will catch you on the next one. Mercury Day.